All right,
Yep.
welcome, guys. We're so glad to get to gather together and do our healthy holiday workshop. We wanted to be able to go over a few different components here. So, we're going to first start off with the gifts of the wise men, and then we're going to go into some healthy holiday tips. So, before we
And then
even get there,
recipes.
oh, yeah.
Then recipes at the end.
Oh, yeah. Don't feel like we're going to just leave you high and dry there. So, um, we wanted to share our intention. And let me actually see, can we do like the full screen with
Oh
this?
yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Um, so in our office, our name, it's called Clear Root Health Partners. That's the name of our practice. And our focus has always been about empowerment. And as we've been doing these workshops, we wanted to make it more specific. How do we want to make sure each of you feel empowered when you're here and then when you're walking away and trying to live out some of the practices that we share? And it's really simplified into this statement here. So, to empower you to be self governed. So, let's say for the holidays, right? As opposed to our appetites or our taste buds being the thing that governs us, that we actually get to be able to choose and maybe go in with some plans ahead of time. Like, okay, this is gonna be my special treat here, or I'm actually gonna withhold here and I'm going to come with some other healthy options instead. It's just allowing you to make choices and bringing your health to the forefront. And then another way is like instead of having voices where other people are saying, "Oh, this is our family tradition. You always do this. Why aren't you now?" And it's like, well, now we can actually go in ahead of time, not saying like, "Oh, okay, let me just give in because I don't want to be guilted." But it's like, no, I really want, like for Joel, for example, when he was younger, like it was just to be able to enjoy a conversation and not feel like zany where he can hear with sugar
When I ate
affecting
sugar,
him.
right?
Yeah. So, and then another way is in terms of self governing is just like in the health field. Instead of feeling bullied into having to do things a certain way, like you have to take these medications and that's the only way to go. It's like, okay, what are my options? And so we always want for you to feel empowered, knowing your options and going in with a plan. So that's why we always have some tips and tools. So we're going to actually kind of start off with more of the tools first. So, and that is with the the gifts of the wise men, and they are gifts of health. So we're going to first focus on frankincense, and Joel will actually tell us a little bit more about how it was used anciently, and then I'll pick up from there.
So frankincense, if you don't know, it's referred to as the king of oils, and it's interesting because it has a lot of a correlation with kings. So it was used anciently in as far back as Egypt, the times of Egypt, and they have found it in tombs. They've found it as a purpose was to burn at Egyptian temples, but it was also used in biblical times as it was burned on the altar of the temple, and it was also used to prepare burnt offerings. So this is a really cool. Um, well, it's an oil now, but it's a really cool
Spice.
yeah, spice that was used to help accompany prayer. And it was meant to be, when it was burned, to be a means of helping to take or ascend a prayer to deity. So it's super significant that this oil, which is associated with kings and with um, burnt offerings and this type of thing, was given to Christ by the wise men, because it's something that was of great value. It was something that was only used in holy places anciently. So it's such a cool spice to be able to use and know a little bit more about the history about.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, and some of the ways that we can use it today are really the reason why it's called the King of Oils is because it seems like it can help with anything and everything. But this list here are some of the main ones that we have seen both for ourselves or our patients or in research where it just is, shining bright above and beyond any other herbs or oils that we know of. So the first one here is brain and nerve health. So we've I know that Joel, his mom here, Cynthia, she had used it on her dad or Joel's grandfather to be able to really help with his memory and cognition. And it seemed to also just help with like his emotional state of being. So it helps a ton in terms of like memory and even symptoms of dementia, those sorts of things. Even like seizure types of symptoms too. We've seen patients be able to have some improvements there. In terms of nerve health, this is really interesting because oftentimes when we think of nerve health, that could be like, oh, my sciatic nerve, my sciatica is all messed up here. That is one way that it helps in like carpal tunnel too, so pain and inflammation in that way, but also for things like eyes. So this is one that I've used quite a bit for my eye health, and I just put it right around the orbit of my eye, not like on my eyes, but just kind of on like where the bone structure is around the eye, and that really actually helps provide more clarity for my vision. And another thing here is for skin and scars. So, I'm expecting, and so I've been doing this oil quite a bit for skin and scar. I don't want to have stretch marks like really lasting forever. But I've seen it also help in the past for scarring with like acne scars that I had as a kid. But we've also seen it help for people who've dealt with like kind of like cysts or like what was that? It was like it was like a fluid filled sac or a fluid filled sac, helping in terms of reducing some of the swelling there and being able to just help with the scarring. So another thing is for the cough and lungs. It's helpful in a different way than you would think, like eucalyptus and peppermint. That's great for more of like if we're really congested and if the lungs are affected with more mucus. This tends to be helpful when we're dealing with more a dry cough and just helping with the lungs to recover. Um, we've seen that really for our son, where he has dealt with some aftermath of mold being an issue for his lungs, and he would just have this dry cough, and it would make such a difference for him when we put the frankincense on his chest. It would help with the lungs as well as the cough. So, and then going back to kind of what Joel was talking about in terms of ancient uses, more with like prayer and those sorts of things, it really does help with focus. So even like with some of the brain health that we were talking about for like ADD and, where we're really like trying to, not be like caught into other distractions, but to really be able to focus, it can provide that. And again, kind of similar to with prayer, it's like, I really want to delve deeper and I want to further understand that it can provide that both for mind, but also in that kind of spiritual, prayerful sense as well. And therefore being able to help calm some of the anxiety that might be there too. So that's everything for frankincense. Let's go ahead and hop into myrrh.
And myrrh, I love reading about this. This actually pops up in the Bible a couple times. Um, a few examples are myrrh was actually used for cleaning and for purifying. And actually, it was one of the spices that was used to help embalm Christ when he was killed. It talks about Mary using myrrh as an oil to help purify the body, which is really cool. And also, it was an oil that was used to anoint priests and kings. And so, again, thinking about this oil that was brought to Christ by the wise men is really significant to think, hey, we're bringing this to anoint you as a king. And I love when I was researching this, looking at this, I'm like, wow, that is really significant. And these gifts meant so much, and they were of such value. These were not things that were just simple, they were things that a lot of thought, and they were actually probably quite expensive if this was what was used to anoint kings. So, very, very significant and incredible gifts for our health too.
Mm. And something else that I'd found out in research in terms of myrrh anciently is that it was the word itself means bitter, and that it's actually the herb that's referred to as the balm of Gilead. So if you've ever heard that term, balm of Gilead, it's in reference to myrrh. And let's think of like, okay, what is myrrh doing? So it's providing support for, which will go into the modern uses. Um, it can provide such wonderful healing support for our bodies, but also it could allow for us to be able to have more of a meditative state and help similar even as the frankincense with just kind of like being more focused and so therefore helping maybe our minds. And if we think of like, okay, balm of Gilead, which is would oftentimes symbolically mean in reference to coming to God and coming to Christ and him being the balm of Gilead. What did he do? He would go around healing people, and then they would listen to his teachings and hear how he would help heal their souls and heal their minds. And so it's such a beautiful reminder and a symbol, I feel like, of Christ himself. Um, Myrrh and frankincense, the two of them really have such beautiful symbolism of Christ himself. So now, in terms of the uses, let's go into that. So, speaking of like, again, with wounds and skin, um, it has such wonderful support for skin, similar to frankincense, but this is more like irritation. And if there is any sort of um, like even fungal issues related with skin issues, then it can be especially supportive. So that's why in that second part, it talks about fungal and viral infections. It is tremendous at being able to help with like candida for more of the fungal types of issues. But then viral, it can just be very supportive as well. But I would be cautious in terms of how much I would take it internally. I'd prefer to take it more externally, like on the bottoms of the feet, and then being able to have more of like a small dosage at the beginning if I'm taking it internally, like maybe 1 drop a day at most, see how your body responds, and then continue to go forward because it's actually a very strong oil and being able to detoxify. So we can have too much of a good thing at times, and so again, starting out small might be better in those cases. For gum disease and sore throat, just swishing it in the mouth is really great. I tend to do like a coconut oil pulling, so putting a drop of myrrh in with the coconut oil and just swishing it in the mouth for 5 minutes or so. That can be really helpful for both gums and throat health. Or you can swish with water as well. So, and then the last part here is the support emotionally, that it can help lift if we're feeling more on that depressed, bitter side. Sometimes in homeopathy, there's this term of like cures likes. And we can't say cure on here exactly, but like helps.
Supports.
Yes, helps likes. And so if something bitter, like an herb that is bitter, is helping a bitter emotion, it has a way of meeting that energetically and being able to help lift and move us into a different state. So it's wonderful for meditation. So that could be something if you're just kind of, you do a drop on your hand, smell, that's wonderful. Or if you want to diffuse it, that could be a great option as well. So, and something else that I've been really focused on, because again, we've got 2 more weeks with our baby on the way. I've really been kind of like following the path of Mary, and just kind of sensing like of course it's different. We're not birthing the savior here, but he is like due around Christmas Day. And I've just been like thinking about, just how her experience was in preparation. And it's been interesting as I've been preparing for his birth, for Justice, that's our son's name. As I've been coming across frankincense and myrrh over and over, if it's to help my body in preparation for labor or delivery, or his body upon birth, it comes up quite a bit. One thing that I thought would be interesting, like a little fun fact, is like when a baby is born, frankincense is a great oil to use, like just along the spine to help them as they adapt to this new world and kind of almost like the trauma of moving out of the cozy womb into this uh, like new world. We'll call it a new world. So, um, anyways, those are just some fun reflections there. Now, we do want to share with you that the Wise Men's gifts are available to you. One through doTERRA. So doTERRA every year, if you have an account with them and you order, they have in December. If your order equals 200 points or 200 PV, you get a free frankincense, which that's a huge deal because usually by itself it's like
$75.
$75.
Yeah.
And so that's awesome that it can be that fee is waived and you get it for free. And we decided we would match because again, we're just like in this state of gratitude for the Christ child and for the wise men. And so we decided that we wanted to also share in that giving process of giving anyone here a myrrh who also does, if you're doing the frankincense where you've ordered 200 points, then we'll also provide a myrrh. So,
So 2 out of 3 gifts ain't
yeah.
bad.
All right. So now we're going to shift gears and go into our healthy holiday tips.
All right. I'm going to take the lead on this one. So we've got 5 tips, and these are, we've tried to think about, okay, when you're going to parties, when you're gathering with family, what is going to be helpful so that you can stick to using the same belt hole at the end of the holidays that you started at the beginning of the holidays. So the first thing is, please enjoy your favorite treat. Okay. So what I mean by this is, if you want to eat that Yule log that is a family tradition or whatever that you just have to have, do enjoy it. Just don't break it up over a week or 2 weeks. So if you're going to have that Yule log, enjoy it fully, really engage, and really have a great time with that on Christmas or whatever day you choose to do it. But don't do it for 7 days. Don't eat the whole log. Just eat one branch, right? But make it mindful. Be very, very wise, but make sure you enjoy a treat. Make sure that you enjoy something you love. Go ahead.
And our chiropractic, one of our professors back in chiropractic school, he would say something similar, but it was in regards to quitting smoking.
Yep. When he was trying to help people quit smoking, he would say, look, if you're trying to stop smoking, just say, I'm going to have 1 cigarette today, and make it an event. It's like, get in a suit or a really nice pair of clothes. Yeah, like go down by the pool and enjoy that cigarette so much and just really, live it up. So make it an event. That's great advice. Don't start smoking over the holidays. That's not what we're saying. But do enjoy that treat, do enjoy something, because like it's all right. It's all right to do, but just don't do it every day, because that's
with a plan.
Yep, go with a plan. All right. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, be mindful, not stuffed. So we might have felt like this guy on the right with our Thanksgiving turkey dinner, right? Try and not get to that point. Pay attention, be mindful while you're eating and say, okay, I'm feeling about full. and I'm going to now stop because I don't want to have this, meatloaf or roast beef induced coma or turkey induced coma, right? Where I'm feeling so sleepy and out of it. M- Make sure you gauge it and eat wisely. Okay, so there's tip number 2. Don't eat after 8. So don't be this lady sneaking stuff out of the fridge after 8 p.m., right? At 8 p.m. So Pearlie's looking at her watch right now. It's 9. No one eat after this, right? So don't eat after 8 o'clock. When you do this, you spike your blood sugar. And when that happens, it doesn't have a chance to actually come down to a normal level. And as a result, you're going to have elevated glucose level. And the body's going to try and, instead of using that energy, it's going to try and store it. And it's going to store it in usually visceral fat. So around your belly and glutes. So make sure that you don't eat after 8. Close the fridge. Okay. Satiate with cinnamon. Okay, so if you haven't used these MetaPower beadlets, these are so great. This is what I use to help curb when I've got a hunger curbing that I need, when I don't want to eat too early, like if I'm starving at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I don't want to eat till 5 or 6 because I do intermittent fasting. This is a great way to help you with that. So it's not just cinnamon that's in here, but that's one of the things. It also has grapefruit, it has peppermint, it has lemon,
and ginger.
Yep, and ginger. And those all help in satiation, in helping to curb things. So if you are looking at that Yule log and it's calling to you, and you're like, nah, I don't really need that. I really enjoyed it a couple days ago. Great. Just use this. It'll help curb that flavor. And it's got a great flavor. It's got a very full flavor that's going to help you curb your desire. And it also helps actually with releasing fat from cells that you don't want.
And it's something that we've seen not just for satiation and for avoiding general foods, but specifically sugary foods.
Yeah.
So if you're like, oh, I love the cake display or the cookie display that's going on here, and it's free, I can eat any of that. Start with one of those. Start with a beadlet.
Yeah.
Walk away, enjoy a conversation. And if you're still, again, go in with the plan. Like, all right, if I'm going to enjoy a cookie here or a piece of cake here, like, okay, I can do one slice, but I've done my part to try and kind of offset it. Or if it's like, okay, I don't want to eat past 8, I go in, like 7 o'clock, I've had my dessert. If I'm still seeing those treats out there and I'm going to try to curb that craving, let's go ahead and start popping a beadlet at that point. So you can continue to feel like, all right, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Then our last hint is rock your healthy alternatives. Make sure that you have things that taste awesome, that you really enjoy. And we're going to share a couple of those. I'm going to actually hop off this screen share. Let's see. Stop it. It's there. Cool. Because we're actually going to have our dear friend Stacy is going to tell us about making some awesome chocolates that are low glycemic and delicious. Stacy, do you want to share that with us? You're muted. Hang on, Stacy.
Unmute. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So I have a really nummy, healthy chocolate recipe. And I need to give credit to Kyle Christensen. He is a chiropractor in our area, and he's the one who created this originally. And then I love to do little adaptations to it. But I'll post, I guess, Joel, do you want us to upload the recipes somehow?
Yeah, can you post it in the chat maybe?
Okay, I'll see what I can figure out. But it calls for cacao powder, cacao nibs, raw honey, maca powder, and cacao butter. A lot of these ingredients I get at Mountain Rose Herbs online, which specializes in organic herbs. And it's really great. It's super easy to make. You just mix all of the ingredients together. stir it till it's thoroughly mixed, and then you pour it into like little cooking molds, like, I mean, not cooking molds, but like little silicone molds, like these little heart-shaped ones, or it could be these little square cubed ones, or it could be something like this that's just kind of like the shape of a Hershey's bar, right? Where it's flat. And so you put them in there, and after you've mixed it, you put them in your little silicone molds, and then you're going to tap this on the counter. And what that does is it removes all the air bubbles from your chocolate. And then it also makes your chocolate be shiny on the top. So it has a nice smooth appearance. And then you can refrigerate that to get it to set up quickly. And then you just pop those out of your molds. You can put it in a little container to store in the refrigerator so that that lasts well. There are some fun variations, and I'll post this when I'm done talking, but some fun variations. So one of my favorites is 10 to 12 drops of peppermint essential oil, a doTERRA, of course. But you can also do like cinnamon powder or cinnamon oil if you like kind of a cinnamon chocolate flavor. You could do wild orange essential oil. You could do cayenne pepper or chipotle seasoning, coarse ground sea salt, or even just a vanilla extract if you want. And then one thing that I had fun with one time when I was teaching a class for Cynthia and Mark, and that was, I went to Costco and I just kind of walked up and down their aisle where they have their dried fruits and their nuts and things, and just kind of put together some ideas of my own. And cherry almond is, you could do dried cherries with almonds chopped up and mixed in with the chocolate. Wild orange essential oil plus little bits of coconut, and then macadamia nuts chopped up, I think would be a fun combination. In some of these deeper cubes where you have space, you could fill the bottom of the cup with a little bit of chocolate, and then you could drop in some almond butter or peanut butter and then cover it back over with the chocolate. So you're kind of creating your own almond butter cup or peanut butter cup, which is kind of fun. Or you could do, like the dried mango with coconut chopped up, or so many different variations. It's up to you, whatever you'd like. And so those are just kind of some fun options of how you can change it up. And then just yeah. However, whatever sounds to you, good to you. Just be creative, spice it up however you want, but they're all raw, natural, healthy ingredients. And so it's kind of a guilt-free chocolate. It's not loaded with the waxes that we see in a lot of the store-bought chocolate today. So it's all natural and healthy, which I think is great. I didn't make it. Sorry, I don't have an example to show you, but it's good. And kind of our standby favorite is just the peppermint essential oil. I really love peppermint and chocolate together. Some people don't like peppermint with chocolate. So it's up to you if you like the fruits, or if you just want to, do the nuts, or however you want, just change it up.
That sounds so good. Stacy, thank you so much for sharing that. Oh.
Yeah. I'll see if I can figure out how to post the recipe
Okay.
here.
And if not, then what we'll do.
I just have to say, Stacy said it was really good. I just have to say it is amazing. It is it is so good. You will love this recipe. It's wonderful.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Stacy, if you can't figure out how to post that, then anyone who wants the recipes, if you'll put it in the chat, put your email in the chat, we can have Stacy send an email to us. We can kind of collect all of them and then shoot them out to whoever wants the list of recipes. So yeah, you can just drop your email in the chat if we don't have your email. So
that's a good idea.
Crystal's got one.
Okay, which one?
Do the orange one.
Okay. I have to pull up the ingredients for that. I don't have it off the top of my head. So it's called a wild Orangesicle cookie. So yeah,
it's amazing.
It's like a shortbread type of texture and flavor for the cookie itself. And then the glaze is not really like a full-on glaze. It's more of it's like a yogurt base. And like you can take or leave that part, but the cookie part itself is so pleasant.
Amazing.
And so it's mostly because of the almond flour. So it's just like a kind of nice, softer flour. And then of course the wild orange essential oil in it. Other things that we add in there is the orange zest. So you got to get like the rind, right? And like just kinda,
Shave it.
yeah,
Yeah, on the outside.
shave it down. And then it like just provides that like extra burst of flavor. So those are probably like the main parts to it that make it the way that it is, where it's just such a like joy.
It's amazing.
John is always like laughing at me because when I eat it, I'm like so happy
She
because
is.
it's the orange in there too. It's got that elevating effect.
It's amazing.
So that's one, but I do want to make mention of it has like a few extra steps, right? The oh, good job, Stacy. There it
I'm
is.
working on it. It will
You
come in
did it.
parts.
Awesome.
Ours said it was too long to. We're gonna try it shorter, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and this like it, so for making cookies and things like that, it has a few more steps, a few more ingredients, but we also have a kind of like candied pecan. So it's only 3 ingredients, and I can tell you how to cook it right now. So it's pecans and then butter and cinnamon. That's it, nothing else. And I have done it with cinnamon oil. It like something about it with the cooking process. It doesn't have that like that I don't know, that full flavor as it does when you actually use like cinnamon powder, but you can maybe do a combination. So basically you just melt the butter, then you add the pecans, and then you dump the cinnamon. I struggle with measurements, but I tried to get measurements for you all. So we'll have that here. Um, and then you just heat it up. Wait till it smells good and it has like a good appearance, not burnt, right? But just like a little bit browned. And then you just let it cool and they're ready to go. And you can just have these awesome pecans that feel like, okay, I've got kind of like that crunchy, sweet taste. So warm feeling. Sometimes I'll actually have this in with our meals, like pair it with sweet potato, maybe even pear, sweet potato and pear. But it can just stand on its own for sure as like a little happy treat too. So there you go. Any others that you guys have? Any healthy holiday recipes? Or it doesn't even have to be just holidays, but recipes we could enjoy during the holidays.
I have one.
Okay.
I came prepared. So my favorite one is we do this no bake peppermint cacao cookie, and it is awesome. It is so awesome. So basically, it's really simple. You're just going to take basically coconut oil, coconut milk, some oats, some nut butter, a little bit of maple syrup, not very much at all, very little. And the good thing about maple syrup is it's lower on the glycemic index than a lot of other sweeteners are. So, and then you just do cacao. You do, fourth a cup of cacao, and you just mix it all together. You put it into balls, and you
pop it in the fridge.
And it literally takes you about 10 minutes max to just mix everything together. We have instructions on that too, but it is, and then you can add like coconut flakes, which is what we usually do. We'll add some coconut flakes. And if you want to do dried fruit, you can do that too. But
try to get unsweetened.
Yeah. So dried cranberries or something like that. But it is awesome. It is so awesome and so easy. And that's another one. What is it?
Can you post that recipe?
Yes.
I'll do it right now.
Yes, because it actually, after hearing yours, Stacey, I'm like, I think I need to make this one because like this is all that I have like available at the moment, and then we can grab your ingredients for yours because I'm like, now I want some chocolate. But which this is
there they are
again just cacao, so it's not. There is a difference between cacao and cocoa.
Yeah.
So cacao is in its raw form, whereas cocoa, it's been
baked.
The cacao has been cooked and like roasted, and therefore all the antioxidants are gone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so
any vitamins.
make
that
sure
it
you
had.
get cacao, because cocoa, because they always talk about how healthy it can be for you. Yeah, it is if it's in cacao form and it's unbaked. And you have to make sure that it hasn't been processed and baked, because if it does, then you lose all of the antioxidant properties basically. So it's just tastes
It's
delicious.
just chocolate.
It's just it's just cocoa at that point, and it's not even healthy for you. So anyway, that's something that we love. Um, yeah, some healthy. And it's not even like these aren't like the healthiest. It's not like this is a vegetable platter, but these are things that are good alternatives. Another hint that you can use, if you've ever heard of monk fruit, that can be used as a sugar substitute. So if you're making something that calls for a lot of sugar, monk fruit is a great sugar substitute that has very, very, very low glycemic index. So, and it's very delicious. It can be a little bit, it can give you some indigestion for just some people, but you just have to try that out and see. But we'll do monk fruit sometimes in like if we make a pumpkin pie, which is usually like, Thanksgiving, but we'll put some monk fruit instead of sugar. So anyone else have any ideas that they're dying to share? Any recipes that they're like, oh, I want to share this. I love eating this during the holidays? Or
I have one that I could share. So I am a beverage guy, and long time ago I used to go to a lot of business dinners and functions and that kind of thing, and I was always the guy walking around with a 7-Up because I don't drink, and so it got to be a little boring for me. But so I started experimenting with different beverages that I could make that would be very tasty, but non-alcoholic. And then I got involved in the more of the health food kind of thing, and so it became non-alcoholic and non-sugar, which is a challenge. But this is one of my favorites, and this has become a family tradition for us for the holidays. Here, I'll just pop this up, and can I share the screen? I'll just show you the recipe.
That'd be awesome, Mark. Thank you. I know Joel has loved this drink.
It says sharing is disabled.
Oh, sorry. Hang on.
Maybe not share
There you go.
screen. Oh, do you want? Okay.
I just did. Yeah. How about that? Is that good?
Let's try that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is called nada colada instead of a pina colada because it has nada alcohol in it. And this has become a family favorite recipe for our gatherings. So it's really, really simple, actually. There are two variations here that we use. The first one is I use the canned coconut milk like you use for Asian kind of dishes or Thai kind of dishes. You need the thicker type of coconut milk, not the really thin kind like in the carton. And then pineapple juice, you can just get can of Dole or whatever is your favorite pineapple juice. Rum extract, this is kind of the secret ingredient. Pina colada normally has a shot of rum in it, and so I found that you can find, especially at the holidays, in the flavoring section, you can find rum extract. So you need some of that. And then my go-to sweetener is stevia, so I usually go for stevia, but you can use whatever is your favorite sweetener to sweeten it up a little bit, and then a cup or two of ice cubes. So it's super simple. A lot of people think it's like this super secret recipe and hard to do, but it's very simple. You just combine those in your Vitamix or your blender, and you can vary the amount of ice depending on how slushy you like your drink. I tend to go more for the slushier kind. Put it in there, blend it up for 15-20 seconds until the ice is all smooched up, and then pour it out into the glasses and garnish it with a piece of fresh pineapple, and voila, you have a really, really tasty drink.
Oh, that looks so fun. I haven't
A
seen.
different there's one other alternative that Cynthia especially likes this version, and instead of the coconut milk and the pineapple juice, there you can get. We usually get Knutson's at the health food store. It comes in a glass bottle, and you just replace the other juices with that and make it that way, and it's also very tasty, and it doesn't need any sweetener if you do it that way. So there you go. I'll post that to the chat as well.
Yay! Thank you so much, Mark, for sharing a healthy holiday family tradition that you guys have had. Awesome, guys. Well, if any other recipes at the moment? And if not,
I have one.
oh, please, yeah, go for it, Cynthia.
So this is so easy. We do have a Mexican fiesta, and you can imagine we have the pina colada that Mark was just talking about, and it's always the big starter, and it's such a fun way to get the party started. But here's just something really, really simple that anybody can do. You get your favorite kind of salsa, whether you make it yourself or it's a kind that you buy. And then you can either put avocado in with this or not. If you like to do, a guacamole, you can do it with the salsa. And you do about a 50-50 split between the salsa and the avocado. And then you put in 3 drops of lime oil. And I will tell you, people think that it's some gourmet thing. As soon as you put in that lime oil, every single time. I've had people that are just really, foodies. They go crazy. They're like, what is you? I know it's got to be a family secret recipe because I've never tasted salsa like this. What do you do? I'm like, well, the secret ingredient is lime oil. And they're like, no, really? I'm like, yes, absolutely. So anybody can do that. I don't think I need a recipe for that, but I do think we can send one. Not right now, but later. But that is an absolute favorite. And then you've got to have, get some good chips. You can bake your own, or you can buy them pre-made, and then just people will eat it and eat it and eat it until it's completely gone. And it's kind of interesting to watch how they'll just like keep going back for more and more of it.
Oh, that sounds.
Cynthia, what are the amounts that you use of salsa versus and the avocado?
It's about a 50-50 split. And you're just going to watch it because you want just the right kind of consistency for the amount of liquid that you like it. So you can add a little bit more of the salsa in it if you like it a little bit less, firm. And if you like it more runny-ish, then you put in a little bit more salsa, but about a 50-50 split on it.
Thank you. That sounds so good. Everything here. Please, right now.
It's past.
Yeah.
Past
But
8. Yeah,
I eat
she gets a pass
because I've got two of us here right now.
Your baby decides when it wants to eat.
Yes. Oh, thank you for sharing that, Cynthia.
You're welcome.
What we'll do is if you do have more, please send it as an email, and then we can send it as well to the rest of the group here. But thank you for hopping in, sharing these amazing recipes, and we hope that it's a wonderful holiday season full of health and happiness. So thank you for joining us tonight.
I was just going to ask, does anyone else have any questions about any of the recipes that were shared or anything else just before we head off that you needed clarification on, or if you don't, that's fine too. But I just wanted to see if anyone had questions. They're like, oh, wait a minute, how do you cook that or prepare that or whatever. And if not, I love Stacy's hint about tapping the chocolate down to give it the nice sheen on that. I would have never thought about that, and to get all the bubbles out. I was like, oh, I've never thought of that. Clearly, you're a pro. So.
Well, I created the recipe, so I give him the credit.
Now, for Stacy, you said you order your ingredients online, right?
I do. You might be able to find them at a local health food store. I don't know. I just purchased mine from Mountain Rose Herbs online.
Utah? That's from Utah. Right?
It's actually up in the Northwest area. So mountainroseherbs.com. And they've got some really high quality products that, you know, a lot of my herbs and products I'll get from them. So you could also try maybe Star West Botanicals, see if they have them, but I've just always gotten mine from Mountain Rose Herbs. So
Okay.
Good to
yeah.
know. Thank you, Stacy.